We are live. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi barakatuhu, everyone. I hope you're all doing well this evening, inshallah. Today I'm joined by a special guest, a non-Muslim Italian lady that has been traveling the world for many years, touching down in numerous Muslim countries around the world in various continents from South Asia to Africa to the Arab world. Hello, Ellie. How are you? I hope you're well.
Hi. Yes, I'm fine. Thank you. Salam alaikum.
Oh, alaikum assalam. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm so glad that we get to do this. I love talking to Muslims and non-Muslims because it's lovely to get different perspectives from different people. So I'm really excited to do this today.
Yes, I'm excited as well.
So like I said, you travel a lot, but before we get into that, I sort of want to get to know just who you are a little bit more. I always like to start the show with a quick introduction. So can you
Yeah.
please let the viewers know what it was like growing up in Italy and if you had a religious upbringing?
Okay, so it was fine to being born in Italy. I'm happy about my country. Actually,
Mm,
I was born and raised in a Catholic family, Roman Catholic.
yeah.
And then, yes, so, normal religious background. My mother used to go to church. She brought me to church. My father also went to church, but they were not strict Catholics. They were like,
Mm,
open-minded, and we lived a normal life, so with good values.
mm.
So they put importance into the family and relationships, being good and being generous. So that is the most important things that I carry with me till today. Yeah.
Mhm. That's amazing. Is a lot of people in Italy, are they all quite, is it quite a Christian country? Because from what I would
Yeah.
assume it is quite a Christian country.
Yes, mostly Catholics more than just Christians, because we
Yeah.
have, we have the Vatican, we have the Pope, so
Yes.
it's yeah, it's also in
Yeah.
our constitution. So yeah, it's a Catholic country. Actually, I'm not strictly Catholic. I cannot define myself so religious because I
Mm.
traveled a lot. I lived in many parts of the world, so I am more like a person who took many good things from different religions. So I cannot define myself, put a label to me. I am Catholic.
Mm.
When they ask me, I don't know really. I took many
Mm.
beautiful things from different cultures and religions, of course.
Well, that's beautiful. And I have heard, obviously, I know Italy quite well, but I've never actually been to Italy. And it is somewhere
Yeah.
that I would like to visit. My husband has been there and he said it's similar to other places in Europe, but it's got a very sort of rich history and it's a very
Yeah.
cultural country. I really want to go. I really love Italian food, so that is one of the reasons.
Yes, you're very welcome. You can also
Yeah.
visit me with your husband. You're very welcome in my house.
Yes, I would definitely love to visit one day, inshallah.
Yeah.
But as you will, I want to sort of shift gears to the Middle East because
Yeah.
what I like about your content and the stuff that I've seen is that you are non-biased. So you don't favor any particular country, you don't have any prejudices, you're very much open-minded about everything.
Yeah.
And as you'll know, Iran recently has been in the headlines quite a lot.
Mm. Yeah.
It's always painted as sort of a strict and backwards country in the Western media. But from what I've seen online, from what I hear from people over there, people over here that are Iranian, and from what I've seen on your videos, Iran is quite an advanced and modern place. And you've been there firsthand, so you will know. So I just want to know what was it like as Iran as a Westerner, and is it as bad as the media paint it as?
No, what the media
Yeah.
what the media show about Muslim countries in general, it's a lie. I mean, like, first time I arrived in Iran was in 2012, before I started to work in Oman, actually, because I arrived
Right.
first in Oman. I was in Thailand. I took a year off. I was a primary school teacher before. So, and then I took a year off and I started to travel Asia, Southeast Asia first. And then I landed in by chance because a friend of mine told me they are looking for Italian tour guides in Oman, and so I landed also in later on in the Middle East. So I arrived in Oman, and then I said my dream was to visit Iran because I read many books about Iran. So I said, let me go and visit, and I went to the Iranian embassy in Muscat, in Oman, and they told me, oh, as an Italian, don't worry, you will get a visa on arrival. But at that time, in 2012, in the news, I mean, when they speak about Iran, they make you feel like they are going to kidnap you. They are going to have problems. But as long as I never believed a single word of what the news say, I said, I want to see with my own eyes if it's true. And so I took a flight, I arrived there, and I fell in love with Iran immediately as soon as I went out of the airport. Actually, at the airport, they treated me very good. And then they gave me a visa right away. Of course, I had an invitation from a girl I met in China. I went to teach in China before. And she told me, okay, come and visit me. I will be in Tehran. And when I arrived there, I mean, like, people are so friendly, kind, beautiful. Iran is full of history, full of beautiful architecture. And they are also very open-minded. I mean, like, I have a lot of friends now in Iran. And then when I was there day by day, I said, I fell in love with Iran. And I even brought my CV to the Italian embassy that time because I wanted to teach in the Italian school in Tehran. I said, no, I love this country. I want to stay here. So I left my CV. And of course, they told me, if you get a job here, you have to cover. Are you aware of that? You are going to wear a hijab when you go out of your house, and you are going to wear long sleeves. You cannot wear any mini skirt. And I said, excuse me, I'm not 18-year-old anymore. I don't care about mini skirt. Time is gone already. And that is not important for me. I'm a very free person, but it's not important for me. For me, it's more important the cultural experience that I'm going to have. Who cares if for 2 years I have to cover? I mean, like, it's not a problem for me at all. So I said, okay. So they offered me the job to teach there. But then when I went back to Oman, they also offered me to start to work in tourism, and I had to choose. So I said, I like also Oman, maybe they pay me better or whatever. Then I made a choice to stay in Oman. You know, it's a sliding door. I don't know where I would be in this moment if I would have stayed there. But definitely, really, Iran is not what the media portray. Actually, I'm going to Oman in December again for work. And I'm planning to go also to Iran. Hopefully nothing bad is going to happen these days.
Yes,
Inshallah. Yeah.
Inshallah. Definitely. I think, I mean, firstly, it's great to get an honest opinion, you know, from a neutral person about countries that the media demonize, especially you're traveling there alone as a woman, you know, on a number of
3
occasions.
times I went there alone.
Yeah, people would assume the worst. But I mean, I've heard as well, it's quite an open country now. And Iran, again, is on my list of places to visit. I have, you know, my one of my mom's best friends. She's Iranian. She has a holiday there. She always wants us to come. So, you know, there's loads of this. There's definitely a reason I would love to go and visit. And I think, but I think my family and I'll wait until all of the geopolitical stuff, all of the tensions sort of calms down.
Yeah. But it's really great. Yeah, how the people are friendly in Iran. I mean, the food is amazing. Number one for me is the Italian one, then Iranian one. The food is amazing. But also, I mean, how friendly the people are. I mean, I was shocked. Yeah.
No, it's nice. And I think it's such a lovely country. And I always think of it as such a lovely country. And I think that sometimes you should realize that, you know, don't believe everything that you see in the media because not everything is true. But from what we've known is currently Iran's biggest rival is the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, another nation that you've also visited, and a country that, you know, despite its modern revamp, contains 2 of the holiest cities in Islam. So sort of along the same lines, how did you find Saudi Arabia as a European woman? And did you find the stereotype of how restrictive it is to be true?
Okay, so I've been to Saudi Arabia first time 2 years ago. I was in Oman with a friend of mine. She's an Italian converted to Islam, and she lives in Salalah in the south of Oman. And we decided to take my car and to cross the Rub al Khali desert, going from Oman to Riyadh. And we were a little bit scared. It was our first time in Saudi Arabia. And again, as long as the news say, oh, maybe you're going there and you disappear, but we have no fear and we are confident now, especially after many years in Oman. I know that it's not going to be like that. So we left. They gave us a visa in the border. They offer us a tea. They were very nice. And also Saudi people have a great sense of humor. So they were really, really nice with us. So we got our visa, we crossed the desert. We even stayed in a mosque because there were no hotels there. So, and it was so welcoming. They were really, really nice people. When we arrived in Riyadh, and sometimes, I remember I entered in a restaurant and they didn't accept the card. So I said, oh no, I already ordered the food and we don't have cash. And he said, oh, no problem, you don't pay. And I said, excuse me? Like, yes. And the same, it happened in the, then we paid because we were able to get cash. But then again, when we went to Diriyah, they said we couldn't make the ticket online, and they say it was $20. And they said, okay, doesn't matter, just enter. And we said, excuse me. So where in the world they make you, they offer food for free only in Muslim countries. I have to be honest. It never happened to me in any other country, not only Saudi Arabia, everywhere. Muslim countries are the best because they have an hospitality that I never find in other cultures or in other religions. Yes, Saudi Arabia is really nice. People stop you, especially because my friend was wearing a hijab, and that's her style, of course. But mine, I was wearing an abaya. I mean, women now, you know that in Saudi Arabia, they're starting to open a little bit. So you are in the abaya and hijab are not compulsory anymore. But when you arrive there, I mean, this type of changing, if they wanted to change, it takes time. So if some women want to change, it takes time also, even if the law is not going to punish you anymore for that. But all women around me were wearing an abaya. So I said, okay, let me wear an abaya as well. It doesn't matter for me. And the people accept you more. So that's what I want to say to women who want to travel to Saudi Arabia. Just wear an abaya, nothing happens, you know. It can even be open, but at least respect a little bit the local culture. Not a little bit, a lot. So... yeah, and the people will be more open to you than going there dressed in a European way because you're not in Europe. So, you have to respect the local culture. Also in Oman is open. You can dress as you like, but still, when you go to the villages, when you go to holy cities like Nizwa, for example, you have to respect. And some tourists, as long as I'm a tour guide, some tourists say, oh, they have to adapt to us because they have to get used to have tourists. And me, I always say, no, it's you that you are a guest here, so you have to respect. That's why
it's funny. It's interesting, how people think like that about where they go and how they dress, and it's an interesting one because I can understand some people might not want to change, but it's not a difficult change.
Yes, I mean, I'm not asking you to wear a niqab, for example. I'm asking you to dress modestly.
And it's not like, it's not the other way around where we're asking you to wear less clothes. We're actually you're just putting things on. It's different if you were asking a woman to remove clothing, that would be out of order. But you're asking her to cover up. It's not, it's not a bad thing.
Exactly. And then there's definitely of respect, to respect the local culture. Yes, that's my point of view. So Saudi Arabia is amazing. Yeah. So some women, because I posted on my social media on Facebook, and I have a page there, and some people say, oh, what an amazing place, I want to go. And others say, I will never put my foot in Saudi Arabia because they do not respect the rights of women's rights. I always say, first of all, when I was there, I was hosted by a lady in Riyadh, and this lady told me, I can wear a hijab, I cannot wear a hijab, it's up to me. I'm wearing it because I want to wear it. So, and I said, and they were mocking me, they were saying in the comments, yes, because they told you, right? They told you. I said, yeah, they told me. They don't believe. Some people are so close-minded that they just want to believe what they see in the media. It's not always like that. You have to go to look with your eyes before judging.
I think that people think Islam is a religion that's very strict and very, that people are forced to do certain things, and it's not like that at all. Everybody has their own choice, and for a woman to understand why she has to wear it. There's a reason behind why she wears it, and it's empowering for a woman. It's not, I don't think it's an easy thing to go outside and wear a scarf, especially if you don't live in a Muslim country. It's actually harder to do that, especially if you're wearing a niqab. It's not the easiest thing to do, but there is a reason why women do it, and they do it for, for our God, for our, yeah.
For example, if you come to Italy and you study here, in public places, you cannot wear a niqab. You have to show your face. So it's also difficult for you.
Yeah. So it's different in different countries. And I've noticed that, I mean, in France, it's very different right now as well with abayas and niqabs. So obviously every country has their own sort of land law, and you as Muslims, you have to respect that to an extent. If you can't respect that, then you don't visit, of course. But once again, it's refreshing to hear such an honest opinion from someone, that has no bias or prejudices. And I feel like Saudi Arabia is a place for everyone, especially with the modernization going on, some of which I think from a religious standpoint is a bit questionable. But statistically, it's definitely very safe. It's very safe for women and families in general. I mean, you won't find any crime there whatsoever.
Yes. I mean, just like Oman, also Saudi Arabia, I can go out at 1 a.m. as a woman alone and nothing happens to me. In Oman, I can even go 3 a.m. Nothing happens to me. But when I'm back to Italy, Italy is not the most dangerous place in the world. I mean, we are not in the US, for example, but still, I'm not going out at 1 a.m. I would be afraid in our cities. I live in the countryside, so it's a little bit safer, but still, you have to be careful. While the thing about Gulf countries is that I do not have to be careful. I do not have to watch my back. Do you say that in English? Being always constantly being aware of my surrounding. No, I mean, I'm so quiet there. And also there is quite no crime. I mean, I remember when I arrived in Oman first time in 2012, I rented a car and I went to visit a beach, and I lost the car keys near the door. I don't know how. And after 2 hours, I came back and I said, oh no, where I left the key? I said, okay, now I have to pay for a whole car. No, someone put the car key near the screen, you got the glass, the front glass. They put it there. Yeah, sure. If you would be in Italy, if you were in Italy, you would not find a note to say thank you for this new car. Yeah, exactly. I don't know in the UK, but
yes, definitely in the UK, you would not find your car there when you came back.
Yes, exactly. So
no, it's
So
amazing. I mean, we were in Dubai recently, and we went with our kids. Our daughters are 2 and 3, and we would sort of put them to sleep in the afternoon, and we would be out until sort of 11 o'clock, midnight, and it was so safe. Like you could just walk around, and it was so calm. And you see other families, other children, other families out and about eating and stuff like that. It was really nice. What I wanted to speak to you, because you've relocated from Italy to Oman, obviously for work, you said, but I believe that you're joining me from Italy just now, but you've lived in Oman since 2012, like you said. So how did that actually happen? Like, obviously you moved for work, but why did you relocate then from Italy to Oman? Could you not have found work in Italy? Did you prefer a Muslim country, or did you not want to live in Europe anymore?
Okay, so nowadays I'm going back and forth from Italy to Oman because I recently got married in February. So husband is here. Yes, thank you. So the husband is here. So I'm traveling right now back and forth. And so why a Muslim country? I haven't been to Dubai. I mean, I just visited fast, but I cannot say about other countries in the Gulf. But I can say about Oman that I feel safer, and I really feel safer. Life is easier. We have a lot of course, in Italy, we have a lot of bureaucracy. I mean, for getting a paper, it takes ages. Everything is so difficult and complicated. While in Oman, you can relax. So you really can relax because it's easier there. Things are really easier. And life is already difficult. So why should we stay in a country where things are difficult? And as a woman, from a woman point of view, of course, when they say, maybe, okay, I have to be more careful as I am in Thailand, for example, because if I want to go out with shorts, I get out with shorts. No, man, I want to do it. although nobody's going to tell me anything, I want to do it. So, but generally speaking, it's also better for women. For example, if I go to the bank and I queue, they make me go first, like a bank mascot. It always opens like that. In hospitals, they make me sit. They offer me place to sit. In Italy, you stand.
Nobody cares.
Nobody's going to tell you, please sit. You are a woman. Maybe you're tired. No way. So I feel more respected as a woman. So these are small things that make me feel better when I'm in Oman. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a big difference. I mean, have you ever thought about moving permanently to Oman and bringing up a family there, or is that not something that you? I mean, obviously your husband is in Italy, so
my husband was working in Oman before. Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, okay. All right.
Voice
so he
is
knows it
coming
quite
and
well
going.
then. Oh, that's
good. So now we are here. Then we will see. So we stay here so he can get his documents. So we will be free to travel. I'm more of a nomad spirit. So I still like to go around and explore. Stay in more months in different places now, like in India or Sri Lanka, or I like to explore more cultures. But for the future, I might say that maybe one day when I retire, why not? Actually, I'm considering buying property in Oman. So let's see. You can get a residency there if you buy a property there. So why not? Yeah.
No, I mean, it's a great story, and I've heard a lot of good things about Oman. I had a brother named Mustafa on a live stream previously who relocated from the UK to Oman. And
I watched him. I watched his videos.
He speaks so highly of it. Again, it's on our family. We want to go visit. And we do think about relocating to a Muslim country just because we want to bring up our children in a Muslim country.
Yeah.
And Oman is sort of one of those, like, it seems like a hidden gem, that like a place that's so amazing that people don't know about.
It is. And for you that you're a Muslim, to raise your children would be great. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I would really love to go and visit, inshallah, soon. But out of all three, I mean, if you had to rank Saudi, Iran, and Oman, which order would you put them in, and which one is better and why?
It's a difficult question because I can't really rank these countries because they are different. Oman is different from, more similar to Saudi Arabia. Iran is another thing. It's not like a Gulf country at all. It's totally different. So it's very difficult to rank, but maybe Oman first, let's say. But because I know it better, so 10 years. So
Yeah, no, I definitely. By the sounds of it, all three nations have their plus points, and again, I really do want to visit all three soon.
Yeah.
But what I think is a hilarious, because I get this quite a lot online, is that certain anti-Muslim people will leave sort of, like you said, uninformed comments about Muslim countries as if those places, can't compete with the West. And what's funny about it is the majority of these people have never been to a Muslim country. They've never even looked at a Muslim country, like you said. They're just basing what they see off the news and thinking that that's what a Muslim country is. The negative perception that people have is astonishing, But again, like we said, it comes down to the media, and it shows how easily influenced ignorant people are. But I want to sort of move over to Africa, because I know that when we spoke offline, you've been to various countries over there as well. You're very well traveled, Ellie. A lot more well traveled than me just now. But you've been to sort of Zambia, to Kenya, South Africa. But one that really stood out to me was Gambia, because again, it's a majority Muslim country. So can you describe your time in Gambia and your thoughts of the people over there?
Yeah, I stayed in a very short time in the Gambia, and it was back in 2000. So it's not that I remember much, but people were very kind. Again, were very nice. Let's say that African culture here is it has is different from the Arab Arab culture. So what you find in, like, for example, Morocco, Tunisia, or Algeria, I think is different from there, like the Gambia or Senegal. But again, the hospitality was great. Food was great, and the hospitality was really great. Yeah.
Yeah,
Again,
I've read about
once more.
Gambia in a book. I read about
Yeah.
Gambia in a book by
Yeah.
Alex Haley called Roots, which I'm sure you've probably heard of.
Sorry again.
I've heard of Gambia in a book by Alex Haley called Roots.
Oh yes, I
Oh,
also watched the
yes,
whole series. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, the
Yeah, I
series.
went
And
where they were
oh, did
bringing
you?
all the, yes, I went there, where they brought all the people, all the, let's say, the male, the strong ones, and then they were
Yeah.
bringing them to the US. Oh yeah, it's so sad. I cried there. Yeah, for slavery started in the Gambia, it seems like. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a really
Mm.
powerful drama, a really powerful book as well. And
Yeah.
since then, again, like you said, I've always wanted to go because I do like history and I like to see all
Mm.
these different places. So I would love to go and visit that.
Yeah.
It's on my list. Among other countries in Africa, I don't know if you've been, but to Senegal, Somalia, Sudan, all those types of countries as well. I would like to go and visit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've never been there, but maybe one day I will go. So yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah.
Let's move over to sort of South Asia because I've noticed you've done quite a few videos in India recently. And
Yeah.
although India isn't a majority Muslim country, there are quite a lot of Muslims that are there. And you seem to travel there quite often. Have you ever visited like Pakistan or Bangladesh as well as India? And if so, sort of how do you compare them to the other ones that you've visited?
Okay. Regarding India, I usually go there because I practice yoga and meditation to calm my mind, my anxious mind. So, yes,
Yes.
so I need meditation. Yeah. So I follow this Buddhist meditation close to the Dalai Lama. I don't know if you heard about him, I think.
Yes.
Yes. So more
Yes.
of the Tibetan part of India. So I usually go there up into the Himalayas. There are the Tibetan refugees. So there is a temple, and usually I do meditation there.
Right.
So yeah. So just to calm my mind, and I do also some yoga by myself. So, and concerning, I've never been to Bangladesh, I've never been to Pakistan, but they are both on my list, especially first Pakistan. Yes.
Yes.
So, and my husband is Muslim, although I am not. But
Yes.
he's very open-minded. We can discuss about anything. Otherwise, of course, I would have never married him if I couldn't discuss or talk or about
Yes, of course.
my point of views. Yes, what I can say is that Pakistani people are very, very generous. And what I learned from my husband is the generosity, is being patient, being quiet, waiting for, is always like, inshallah. So, inshallah, this thing is going to happen. And if it's not going to happen, this is for a reason. This is something that personally I've never found in my Catholic background. So also fear of death. For example, I have a big fear of death, and he always tells me I always fear like dying of a heart attack, because when I had the COVID, then I had a little bit of a heart problem. He always says, "Be quiet. When it's your time, you will go to Jinnah." Like, yeah. So yes. So this is something very beautiful about Muslims, Islam in general, is that they really live more peacefully. So it's like you go more with the nature, and you respect this spirituality is in everything. So I really like it. I don't know how to express it. And one thing I want to say that is very important to me when I say that my husband is a Muslim Pakistani. They always say, okay, you're not afraid? He's going to close you in the house one day. You're not going out, right? Why are you still traveling? And doesn't he want you to stay always at home? Does he beat you? And he's really, I say, really? And I said, did you see how many Italian men beat and kill women? So, and you are telling me if I'm afraid of my husband? I am not. First of all, because I know who I married. And second of all, yes. So what I want to say is that there are a lot of prejudice that I have to fight always when I say who I married. And then I have to say that he is the most faithful, quiet, generous person I have ever met in my life. Not because he's my husband, because he's really is. Everybody loves him for this. So yes, so we have to stop with this prejudice because we don't know really what's going on. Maybe some men, maybe some men are like that, but also Catholic men beat the women. It's not only Muslim. I don't know. The world is permeated by this idea that only Muslims are the worst. Yeah, we are all the same. In Islam, you say the 5 fingers are not all the same, right?
Yes. No, it's very true. And it's beautiful that you have that view. And maybe, maybe it is because you've married a Muslim man and you've got better understanding maybe of Islam through him, which is a beautiful thing. And it's sad that Muslim men get such a bad reputation, and Muslim women get a reputation of being, subdued and always have their head down and always stuck in the house. It's not like that at all. It's definitely not. And
no.
There's a role. Everybody has a role in Islam, and that is what you have to respect. As a woman, I have to respect my husband as the leader of our home. But I would expect that anybody that gets married that is a man and a woman, that is sort of how the role is. And as a woman, you are your peace, and you look after the home, you look after your husband, you look after the family. So there are roles in every family, and it's beautiful that you have a better view. And what I would say is, don't listen to anyone because people are always going to have something to say. There's always going to be negative comments about everything. It's better to just ignore.
Exactly. Also, I was talking to a friend of mine who told me, but I was surprised. I went to Morocco and I thought that Muslim women are are treated then bad or whatever. And then I said, no, look, in Oman, when I arrived, I noticed in the Muscat souk, on Friday afternoon or Friday morning, men were carrying how do you say, where you put the babies and then you stroll it? I don't know.
The pram with the carry cot. Yes, travel. Yes.
And one child here and one child there in the back, and women in front. Well, a friend of mine told me that her boyfriend, who's not a Muslim at all, he always walks in front of me. And then I said, no, I never see this in the Gulf. The man is behind, the woman is going freely. So yeah, it's just a lot of prejudice. So people travel more and see with your own eyes before judging culture and the religion.
Or speak to Muslims. I think sometimes people are even scared to ask Muslim. If anybody asks me anything, I'm very open, very happy to discuss. That's why I love having, even non-Muslims on the show, because I actually enjoy it more, because I feel like they are so open-minded, and it's so lovely to have a conversation about different cultures and religions. And it's nice to speak to someone that doesn't hate Muslims, because it seems like the world is really against Muslims just now. So it's beautiful to see someone like yourself. You said your husband was Pakistani. I'm Pakistani too. So I recently went to Pakistan this year. All of my family are in the UK, so I've never really been to Pakistan, and there was never any need. But my husband's family, some of them are in Pakistan, so we went to visit them, and I absolutely loved it. I thought it was amazing. I'm desperate to go back. I keep sort of saying, let's go back. So hopefully, inshallah, we will go back again soon.
Great. I've never been there because also we are waiting for his documents to be done, and then because there are some requirements. If you go, then you can't come back. So we are waiting for that, and then I will go also for sure.
You'll definitely you'll love it. It'll be really good. And also, I want to visit Bangladesh too at some point in the future. I've heard it's a really beautiful country too.
Yes, as well.
But to be completely honest, due to prejudice I see online, I don't really have a desire to visit India. I think especially due to sort of the support that they show Israel, it sort of adds to the reasons why I'm not really, it's not at the top of my list. It's not that I would never go, but it's just not at the top of my list.
I understand you.
But there is a country in that region with the exact opposite attitude towards Israel, and that is the Maldives, which is again high on my list. It's a beautiful country. Hopefully, inshallah, next year that is somewhere that I would love to go and visit. But let's go sort of full circle and come back to Europe, because you've also been to Albania and Turkey. What was your experience of those places? Because Turkey can sometimes look look quite modern from the outside. I think I have been to Turkey, so I do know the sort of differences.
Yes, I've stayed just a few days, so giving, sharing a point of view about that, I'm not very sure. But actually, I was hosted by a friend of mine. She is Albanian, married to a Turkish man. He's Muslim.
Right.
So yeah, I stayed in their home, and it was a second time actually, first in Ankara and then in Istanbul. Again, they are great hospitality. And you can find different, all women dress differently, maybe all Muslim, but one have a hijab, the other one no. It's all mixed, let's say. And it's also a beautiful country, but I cannot say much. I stayed only 3 days. So yeah, while
What about
Albania, I lived there.
Albania?
I lived there. I lived in
Right.
Albania from 2002 to 2005.
Right.
I was working in international cooperation for an NGO, working with the girls and women and children with domestic violence problems, things like that happened at that time. It was really a great experience, maybe one of the most beautiful I ever had in my life. And this is different. You know that they had 50 years of very strict communism. So Enver Hoxha, the dictator, decided to destroy everything about religion. So nobody could be anymore a Muslim or a Catholic or Christian, nothing. So after that, they started again with their own practice. By the way, they told me that they continue to practice, but inside the homes that nobody could see. So they told me, what I noticed now, I just been there recently again. And they really live peacefully, all the religions together. So you can find a father who's Muslim married to a Christian, and then a grandmother and grandfather are Orthodox. So maybe not many are maybe practicing Islam, if we want to talk about Islam, but they really live together peacefully. So they also respect the different, how do you say, when you celebrate, for example, there is Ramadan, then there is Christmas, they celebrate all together. While, for example, in Italy, no, we still celebrate only the Catholic festivities. Yeah. We do not close everything for Ramadan, for example.
No, we don't either.
We have also very little Muslim, I think, so still. Yeah, I think so. But Albania is really great.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of positive things about Albania. And I've heard, like you said, how respectful they are of other faiths. And I think maybe because they've had that, happen to them in the past, they're just happy to practice their faith, and they're just happy to be free to practice their faith. And I've heard there's much division in terms of religion as there are in other countries.
Yes. I'm for freedom. So it's great for me that each of you can believe in what you want and you practice it. That's it. For example, in Oman, we have a Hindu temple. We have a Catholic church. Yes, it's not exactly a church as you can imagine, but there is a place where they can go and celebrate the Sunday Mass, for example. So many Filipinos or Christian, Catholic, Indians, they can go there, or foreigners from the West like me. So yeah, Sultan Qaboos believed in this. So he spread this idea of accepting other religions, but of course you cannot go around and asking people to convert. This no, but you can believe in what you want and go to the mass. Yeah, I don't know if I explain
I lost you for a second.
Sorry, no, I just said that. Yes, Sultan Qaboos was the previous sultan, and now we have Sultan Haytham. Sultan Qaboos, before, he decided that we can have a place where we can go and worship. But of course, you cannot go and say, please try to become Hindu, become a Christian or Catholic. No, this you cannot do that. There is a word in English, it's not proselytism. I'm not sure. Yeah.
I mean, it's good that you can still, again, respect all faiths. I mean, I'm sure they don't encourage people to become Christian or Hindus, but it's still nice if, like you said, if people move over there, there's still the option for people to freely, practice their faith. But coming back to Turkey, I know you only said you went there a couple of days, but again, I mean, it's a great place to visit. I've been to Turkey UK, it's quite Islamic if you look in the right places. At the same time, it does have a European feel to it. A lot of non-Muslims do go over there for holidays, so certain countries are quite free in terms of Islam, but it's still a Muslim country, and there are people that adhere to Islam, just maybe not as strict as other nations. From what I've seen.
I think so.
Yeah. I sort of wanted to end the show with some dawah because, Ellie, you've been around Muslims, you've experienced Islam in many different places, you're married to a Muslim, and you know from experience what the religion is about outside of negative stereotypes and discrimination. So you've got a very good view of Islam, and I think that you have a view of the true Islam, what Islam really is. But would you ever consider converting to Islam and becoming Muslim? Is that something that you would ever see in your future?
This is an interesting question. So, I don't know.
Did you ask this already?
Yeah. So I don't know. No, because anyone I meet, for example, in Oman or in Saudi Arabia, they will say, "I will pray that you become Muslim." All the time. So, inshallah, one day.
Yes, inshallah.
Yeah. So I don't know. So I can only say inshallah. So if God will, maybe. At the moment, no, I'm exploring a lot. So I like to explore. So I'm searching and studying. So who knows the future? Maybe. I don't know. I mean, I'm always open to anything.
Inshallah. I mean, as a Muslim, I have to ask. And I would also encourage you and anyone that is a non-Muslim that's watching to, get an English translation of the Quran or an Italian translation of the Quran and read it, or open it and read it, and just maybe get a feel of what Islam is about. I mean, you've got quite a good view of Islam already, and I'm sure you've got many things that you could ask your husband and that he could help you out with. But I just want people to experience what I experience, from my religion, because it brings light and direction and purpose to my life, and inshallah one day you experience the same. And like everybody says to you, I will pray that you become inshallah. That would be a beautiful thing to hear. It's a beautiful thing when people convert to Islam, and I think with everything going on in the Middle East just now, I think a lot of people are looking at Islam in a different light for a good reason, because they are seeing how much Muslims are suffering.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, nowadays then the situation is terrible. Let's hope that it will stop soon, all this mess, and there will be peace again. And of course, things should be fair.
Inshallah. I just want to say thank you for joining me, Ellie, and sharing your insights and experiences. It's been great talking to you. Very informative to learn about so many places that I've never been to, but hopefully we'll visit. I'll definitely be messaging you if I go to any of these places to find out where to go and what to do. Thank you for coming and joining me. I know you
my pleasure. Thank you for inviting me to share my point of view with the people who listen to your channel, to watch your channel.
No, thank you so much. I apologize if there was any Wi-Fi issues today. I don't know what's going on today, but yes, I apologize for that.
Yes, also mine.
Yeah, thank you so much,
Thank
Ellie.
you.
Have a good evening and stay safe. And
you too.
Yes, good luck for your next venture.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye.